Good evening, everybody. A very warm welcome on behalf of AOZ Association of Zoologists to all our dear viewers, presenting you the third episode of our Alumni Success Series. Today, we are going to have our guest, Dr. Girish Sharma. He's the one who is a toxicologist by nature. So before we actually start discussing and welcoming Sir, those who are new to AOZ, I would like to tell them something related to AOZ. So Association of Zoologists is a very new NPO, non-profitable organization, which was established in 2019 under the Company Act by few of the enthusiastic zoologists. But for all the zoologists, this is the team who represents AOZ, and we also have our vision mission, which states that we are all dedicated towards only uplifting the subject and the growth of the subject. So we want to promote zoologists and zoology by all means through this particular mission of AOZ. This is our council. We have divided Gujarat state into different zones, and each zone is represented by one of the senior professors. All these particular professors, they are the ones who coordinate different activities related to AOZ. Along with that, we also have President Professor PC Mankodi sir representing from Vadodara. We have General Secretary, Joint Secretary. We also have Treasurer, and our main office belongs to Ahmedabad University. This is our mission, what we want to look and do into this AOZ. So we want to strengthen our bonds with different allied subjects. We want to do the capacity building of young zoologists, and we are always there to advocate zoology subject anywhere and everywhere. We also look forward with lot of collaborative research, learning, and innovative programs with different subjects, different universities, different organizations. It can be in terms of interdisciplinary, contemporary, multidisciplinary areas relevant to science and zoology. For achieving these goals, we do lot of different activities. So we do lot of workshops, training programs. We also do lot of scientific gatherings like seminars, symposia, conferences, and we are also in a way to try and build platforms for young zoologists by providing different travel grants, fellowships, and different kinds of scholarships. So those who are interested can please join our AOZ by becoming members. Presently, we are having around 60 members, and you can reach out to us through this email ID, which is reflected here onto your screen, zoologist association 2020 at the rate gmail.com. Please no, call us onto this, write an email, and we will share all the details relevant to the membership. There are annual membership also, and there are life membership also available to all those who belong to the subject of zoology. So with this short presentation, I would now like to invite our today's guest, Dr. Girish Sharma sir. Good evening, sir. गुड इवनिंग सर. आपको आवाज आ रही है? हेलो, गुड इवनिंग सर. कैन यू हियर मी? हेलो सर, कैन यू हियर मी? We can see you. I think he's not able to hear me. Let me just check it out with him on the WhatsApp and I come back to you. Good evening, sir. Can you hear
Good
me
evening.
now?
Yes, yes, now it's
Yeah,
better.
yeah,
Fine.
yeah. Okay. So a warm welcome to you, sir, on behalf of AOZ and the complete fraternity of zoologists who has joined us to listen to your journey today.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Nehal and the complete team of your.
Yeah. So, friends, before I start asking questions to Girish sir regarding how he had come such a long journey being a expert toxicologist, let me share some details about him. So, I am very proud to tell you that because I also belong to Sarvajanik, no, Sir PT Sarvajanik College of Science, a pass out student from the same institute. So, Sir has done his BSc Zoology from Sir P.T. Sarvajanik College of Science, Surat. And again, he has also done his MSc Animal Science, Bioscience from Veer Narmad, South Gujarat University. So I'm so glad, sir, I share the same background with you. Although you are an expert in toxicology, and I stand nowhere into that, but it feels good to note that we share the same institute for educational purpose. So, sir also did his PhD from Veer Narmad, South Gujarat University. And then there was no looking back when he started joining Jai Research Foundation. So his journey started from Jai Research Foundation, and he then later on was working with number of different organizations. He was a research officer in reproductive toxicology at Jai Research Foundation, Vapi. Then he switched on as a senior research associate for Wokart Research Center, Aurangabad. Later on, he was working as an assistant general manager and scientist one for preclinical drug safety evaluation with Torrent Research Center, Ahmedabad. He also worked as deputy general manager for preclinical drug safety evaluation with Bharat Serums and Vaccine Limited, where presently he is working as vice president. Now, he has also been working as a deputy director for Century for Research and Development, Mumbai, and was a person who was a co-founder and business directorial for Flare Labs, that is facility for lab animals and in vivo research, Palsana, Surat. So he was the one to establish that. No less than this, his journey continues as a designated partner at Safety and Analytical Research Center, LLP, Ahmedabad, wherein he was also a director. And presently, he is, as I said, vice president, heading the laboratory animal research facility in Bharat Serums and Vaccines. So, friends, presenting you a person who is into toxicology for past more than 25 years, and I'm sure our discussion and today's interview is going to be really fruitful and inspirational for all the young minds. So, sir, before I start discussing and getting answer from you related to the technicalities of what this ecotoxicology and agrochemical toxicology is there, आई ऑलवेज आस्क अ क्वेश्चन टू माय गेस्ट के आपको क्या ऐसा लगा कि आपने जूलॉजी ले लिया बीएससी में? Usually BScs are popular with chemistry because chemistry से आराम से anybody listening from chemistry field, please don't feel bad, but this is our observation के उनको आराम से इंडस्ट्री में जॉब मिल जाता है, तो लोग प्रेफर करते हैं, स्पेसिफिकली मेल स्टूडेंट्स, बॉय स्टूडेंट्स प्रेफर करते हैं कि जॉब मिल जाएगा तो केमिस्ट्री ले लेते हैं। तो आपने जूलॉजी क्यों लिया? क्योंकि मैंने देखा है हम पढ़ते थे तब भी गर्ल्स जूलॉजी ज़्यादा लेती थी, बॉयज़ बहुत कम होते थे। तो व्हाट इंस्पायर्ड यू टू टेक
In,
जूलॉजी?
thanks, Nehal. In fact, in my whole class of, I say, 25 students, there were only two males in our BSc batch. That is the part of it.
So
And
you are too lucky,
I
too
have
lucky
been asked,
people.
this question has been asked many a times to me. आप क्या कर रहे हैं, आप लोग दोनों क्या कर रहे थे फीमेल्स इतने ज़्यादा
Yeah.
इंफॉर्मेशन लेते हैं. To be very frank, Nehal, I am an accidental zoologist. Let me begin with that. Actually, I wanted to do microbiology.
Okay.
Okay. And I started with, say, first year I did at Navsari BP Baria College, and the percentage was so less I could not get into the merit list of microbiology. Then I shifted to PT Sarvajanik College, Surat as a geologist. But let me tell you, that doesn't mean zoology is a bad subject or you don't get jobs. I have hundreds of experience, stories of persons who are into industry with zoology background. Uh, Actually, in the initial stages, it was like I was not knowing which direction I was doing. But by the time I did my completed my BSc, I was sure that I will make a career in zoology, and that's how I first joined in aquatic biology department of university. Later on, I got into biosciences, and that's how I mean my journey to of my this thing education was complete
Started, yeah, started.
started.
So,
And
sir, how you decided to make your career into toxicology?
I'll- in fact, after coming out of master's degree, we were not very sure where we'll get a job, like the way every student is thinking today. But
Yeah,
believe me, there are many opportunities, many avenues where which you can explore. To initially, I started my career as a medical representative with Lupin, and
okay.
during 1 year of that medical representative job, I was very sure I'll get into J research. I tried for this position, for almost 1 year. There were no vacancies. It doesn't mean that there was no opportunities. But I wanted to get into only J research first. That was the thing. So if I would have explored it through pan India, I mean, there were many opportunities at different locations, different cities. So, but I had that junoon in my mind, I will get into J Research Foundation. And I'll tell you today, J Research Foundation is 50% of staff are zoologists in J Research Foundation in
Yeah,
Bangalore.
that's so good to hear.
And we, not just we, many of our seniors from university department were there in J Research Foundation, like Dr. K.S. Pillai, Dr. Thompson Mathai, Dr. Kamal Grover. They are all PhDs from University Biosciences Department, SGU, VNSGU. I think Dr. K.S. Pillai is the first zoology PhD, by animal science PhD from the department, and he was into J research. That actually inspired me to get into J research, seeing my seniors.
Yeah, that's really wonderful to know. So many zoologists are into Jai Research Foundation. So, sir, you stepped into an area because usually that all needs the handling of the animal. I went through your resume, and you are so good at handling, starting from the algae till that of the fish and guinea pigs and hamsters, and also how you have gone through this whole procedure. Because I'm sure this is something which actually you need to learn. Animal handling is something different. So what was your experience about learning this kind of animal handling?
See, after getting into J research, in my background was fisheries, MSc zoology, and specialization was fisheries. I was put into ecotoxicology. Ecotoxicology is basically a branch of toxicology wherein you see the impact of pesticides or chemicals on environment. So it consists of aquatic ecotoxicology, it consists of avian terrestrial ecotoxicology. So that was my first exposure with animals. I started with honeybees. I started with, because farm runoffs, pesticides from farms are getting into lakes and rivers and other things. So whole biotic system is being affected because of this contamination. The basic principle of ecotoxicology testing is to assess the effect of chemicals and pesticides on aquatic and terrestrial animals ecosystems. So the first step in aquatic ecosystem is you start with algae, whether it is having an effect on algae or not. You do create those conditions in laboratory environment. Then you go to the next step. You go up to fishes. In between there is Daphnia magna, which is complete food chain. Algae is
Yeah.
taken up by Daphnia. Daphnia is taken up by fishes. So that complete food chain we used to cover in ecotoxicology. Like similarly, you have this in honeybees also. You do test, because honeybees are very important insects that are required for pollination and other things. So it should not have harmful effect. Pesticides should not have harmful effects on honeybees and all. So we used to test it on birds, chicken, pigeon, Japanese quails, and etc. That is the whole concept of ecotoxicology. So after
Yeah.
completing having experience in ecotoxicology for around 6 years, I was transferred to toxicology, wherein you start with laboratory animals. And I'll tell you, the initial experiences were very bad. You were bitten by rats and mice many a times, but then yes, slowly you have to have someone who can teach you. Luckily, I had good seniors with who has taught me handling animals, and that's how I got into toxicology and learned that it from them. But yes, it needs practice because you have different routes of injections in animals: intravenous, intraperitoneal, intramuscular, oral, and everything. So it's a skill that needs to be learned. But I'll tell you, it will not be difficult for any of the zoologists to learn it. I mean, I learned it in 10-15 days.
Okay, so you say it's going to be easy for a zoologist to learn this skill. So does the
Definitely.
subject input somewhere in this particular learning?
Sorry, I didn't get your
Does it
question.
support does it support somewhere making things easy for you to learn this kind of handling of the animals? Any
See,
gain from the
as
subject?
See, you have some softwares and artificial things, but that will not help. Help. And this is my personal opinion. It will not help much because until and unless you have a feel of the things, you are not going to be perfect. आप
Yeah,
एक
yeah.
MBBS डॉक्टर को इंजेक्शन कोई साइट पे या वेबसाइट पे नहीं सिखा सकते सॉफ्टवेयर में. So the same is the principle applicable with animal research. So it needs practice.
तो सर जो आपने पढ़ाई किया बीएससी एमएससी में डज दैट पर्टिकुलर सिलेबस दैट पर्टिकुलर स्टडी हेल्प्ड यू समवेयर व्हेन यू वर ट्राइंग टू सेटल योरसेल्फ इनटू टॉक्सिकोलॉजी फॉर दिस काइंड ऑफ ट्रायल्स was it any support from those subjects that you studied?
See, many of the subjects, papers that were very good, which had actually helped me, like the biostatistics part will help you, biophysics and biochemistry will help you in assessment of toxicology reports. But yes, when it comes to this classification and other things, I think more focus should be on this biochemistry, biostatistics, and type of things in higher level, at the master's level. The
Mhm.
classification, coordinates, non-coordinates, and if it is completely BSc degree, the focus in master's degree should be like industry oriented focus. Wherein
Okay,
these,
okay.
so definitely some many of the papers that we had helped me. The biostatistics part of the CV, biochemistry and biophysics, like this type of
So
things.
those subjects really helped you.
Really,
And
really did.
yeah, and during your time there were dissections available.
Yes,
Were
we
you
had too
allowed
many
to do?
dissections, right from cockroaches, leeches, earthworms to up to large animals, even birds to some up to the level of birds. We had done this, even we had done dissections of this scoliodon,
Yeah,
I guess. So there were too many dissections in those days. Unfortunately, it is not happening, but I guess it should be taught. At least few lower invertebrate dissection should be there.
should be there. Yeah. So those dissections, were there any of the help to you in your study further for toxicology?
Definitely, they see when we do a toxicology experiment. At the end of the experiment, we need to collect organs, 42 different organs from the animal,
Yes.
right? Starting from brain to reproductive organ and skin muscles and skin and site of injection and other things. So I have seen newcomers coming into job these days who does cannot identify liver and a kidney properly,
Exactly. Yeah.
uh,
They
and
are not very
when
good into histopathology also.
yes, the basic histology is missing. People don't know the basic histology. Only when you know the basic histology, you can get the pathological changes or lesions that are occurring. So you need to know the basics also, but this is missing right now. It's
Yeah,
unfortunate.
so faculties and students who are watching, please, faculties, it's our duty that we impart basic histology when we are teaching zoology, and we incorporate that into our syllabus. And students, it's your duty to know, make your fundamentals clear for histology, pathology, and all. Then only these kind of fields would be useful to you. So, sir, this was so wonderful to know that there are so many important aspects that zoology contributes when one has to go through no at a higher level this kind of toxicological, ecotoxicological studies. There are a lot of technical things that also you are into, like you also know international regulatory guidelines related to FDA and EPA and European Union, along with Indian regulatory guidelines. So, what is your opinion about like this kind of guidelines? How a student can gain some expertise or exposure towards these kind of guidelines? Because most of the syllabus, they do not have clinical guidelines available to them. At the most, they'll have an animal house and its related relevant establishment rules or something, but not this kind of guidelines. So are there any specific courses that students can go for, or any certification that they can gain if they have an inclination towards these kind of career making?
See, first of all these guidelines which I put in my CV or resume, you can see these are international guidelines and they are available on public domain. Only the point is the faculty should be aware where to get it, and they should pass it on to the students. So these are guidelines. These guidelines are on public domain. Second is like there are few courses from time to time running. In fact, I can suggest you there is a Association of Laboratory Animals in India. LASA, it is called Laboratory Animal Science Association. This is an association which is into animal research, and they publish papers and other things. First of all, students can take a membership of this particular association. In fact, AOZ and LASA can jointly organize
Collaborate, yeah.
workshops or conferences in Gujarat with various university departments. That is a possibility. These, if you want to get into like regulatory affairs, is an area wherein most of the regulatory submissions are done. So you can see chemistry people, you can see far and farm regulatory sciences people into regulatory affairs. There are few zoologists also. So these have they have learned. So what I suggest is during your master's degree, you need to revamp your complete uh, you know uh, syllabus and introduce these type of industry oriented syllabuses exposures to the
Yeah,
students.
yeah. So that can include this kind of rules and guidelines which are
Guidelines
international
and all,
and
yes,
national.
definitely.
Yeah, and same way, where the students can take this, animal-based some clinical trials if they want to have an hands-on. Is there anything available for students to, or they are
No,
allowed any kind of hands-on?
no, no. Unfortunately, Dr. Nail, you are not allowed to, like the way you are not allowed to do dissections. Trial
Yeah,
and errors are not allowed. So, if it is a research institute doing research on animals, you have to associate yourself with the researcher and learn the things during the process. Separately, for training purpose, yes, there are workshops being organized for 15 days or 7 days workshops being organized. Say you have Madras Veterinary College doing this thing. You have Attract in Mumbai doing such thing. During those conferences, there are one-day workshops where you can get into and learn a few things, but that will not give you complete
idea.
feeding, exposure,
Yeah.
idea. But yes, you can have a basic idea. These workshops
Okay,
are
little
helpful.
exposure, little
So,
exposure.
yes, so what I expect is I can help you with this part. AOZ can associate with these type of things, make your vision broader, collaborate with these type of associations so that you get regular information where such workshops are being conducted, and then you can send your students to that workshop.
Yeah, surely. So I'll note this 2 points for AOZ's collaboration. So on a lighter note, sir, can you share some good memories as in zoology student when you had been in BSc, MSc, something related to your zoology days?
It's not exactly to animal or zoology syllabus, but in BSc we went for a field tour to dance, and we those days buses and private taxis were not there, so we traveled with by this state transport ST bus, and it was like I forgot my suitcase on the bus stand in what's that bus stand called? Waghai, I guess. Waghai bus stand.
Yeah, Vagai, yeah.
forgot it there. And during those days, this Khalistan and terrorist forces were too much active in Punjab and all those things. So you will not believe me, सुबह में भूल गया था, शाम को याद आया, हम बस स्टैंड पे गए, वो सूटकेस वहीं
वही
का वहीं पड़ा था. After
वही का वही
completing,
था.
yes, yes.
Nobody took it. Nobody
It
took it.
it
So
shows two things: either people were afraid or people were very good not to touch someone's belongings.
okay, so you could get your suitcase back.
After
Right.
almost 8 or 10 hours
Oh,
from bus stand.
yeah, that's really wonderful. So, sir, on that lighter note, you have developed so many skills related to quality assurance and clinical trials and animal testing and all. So, please throw some light on, like, as an MSc BSc student, if somebody inclines to, what kind of direction you would suggest them if they want to go in that way, what they should start looking for, so that they start having their hands on in that area and slowly they can step into it.
See, first thing you need to do is to research about the things and what if you are interested in going into a pharmaceutical company. So you should understand, make do some research or get some guidance. What are the places you can? Supposing a zoologist, if I ask him to run an HPLC, he will not be able to run it, right? So you need to know which direction you are going. Then, based on that, today you are having so many resources, online courses, 6 weeks or temporary 3 months courses, which you can add on. You can add on to your current degree, and with that course being done, you can if you put up your resume to a company, they will definitely consider it with these type of courses, and your syllabus being somewhat upgraded to the industry requirement.
Yeah, yeah. And I saw that you have been switching on to so many different companies, but your area has remained the same. So, how this has happened? Like, no, you have been going through similar area, but the companies and the profile has been changing.
See, even in a research institute or a educational institute, you have microbiologists, you have molecular biologists, you have geneticists, you have environmental biologists. So when you see subsections of toxicology, there are too many areas. You have ecotoxicology, you have toxicology. Toxicology again has got oncology, reproductive toxicology, chronic toxicity, and all. The in GLP systems, you need to have a quality assurance function which will monitor the this thing experimental part. So if you see my resume, I had been shifting to all the areas, subsections of toxicology, to gain expertise in all the areas. So I'll suggest that if people are putting you from one area to another area, you should not take it as a punishment. My boss used to try. I was like jack of all trades and master of none. मैं Stephanie था actually. हर जगह Stephanie हूँ. I can get into any areas, any role inside the facility. Put me into quality assurance, I'll handle it. Put me into toxicology. So wherever you get the opportunity to learn different things, you learn them, add them to your KT so that your resume is richer, your experience is richer, and you can be a Stephanie to any of the
अच्छा,
organization.
ड्यूरिंग दिस प्रोसेस सर कभी तो फ्रस्ट्रेशन आया होगा ना कि ये क्या हर बार शिफ्ट हो रहा है, कुछ अलग. तो हाउ डू यू
See,
हैंडल दैट?
first time when I was shifted, I had this experience of frustration. I was damn angry with my boss, saying 6 years में यहाँ काम किया अभी मेरे को उधर shift कर रहे हैं. But later I realized that day he has sent me to different areas. So today I can run a flow cytometer also. Today I have run AS atomic observation spectrophotometer. I have learned GC, GCMS, everything and in the chemistry area also, even impurity profiling and inflammability experiments of chemistry also. So later on, you need to understand the more expertise you have, the more sought after person you will be in the industry. Try to
Yeah.
learn things.
Yeah. So those who are watching our today's journey with Sharma sir, on your screen we are displaying the email ID of AOZ Association. Please remain in touch with us, be our members to avail more benefits from our association. Also, we are available on Instagram and Facebook, so you can also follow us through that and definitely through this YouTube channel. We also welcome your comments and your questions for Sharma sir. So at the end of the session, I would be taking up the questions coming from your side. So please feel free to ask questions relevant to this today's discussion and to our Sharma sir. So sir, you have seen the era of toxicology in India, like way back starting, because it's more than 25 years now. So what's the difference in present research and the research you started way back before 25 years? Has India changed somewhere? Are there opportunities with toxicological studies in India? Is it better to work here, or because a lot of students they are moving abroad and we see the cream going out, and we sometimes feel really difficult to keep hold on it. So is there any opportunity for them to work for toxicology in India?
See, first thing I tell you, you asked about the cheap difference that has come within 25 years. Initially, when we used to refer, any literature, uh, uh, first was like I used to go to MS University, Baroda, and we used to write it on notes because in those days Xerox was 20 rupees, one page.
Yeah.
We used to take the notes and bring it. Later on, when I was into J research, when we wanted literature, I used to go to Mumbai Central Institute of Fisheries Education. And during those days, we used to bring the data in floppy. I'll go
Oh,
there. It was 7 MB, complete size of the floppy was 7 MB storage. So I will just collect the abstracts. I will not take the complete paper. So that's how we did our research work. And today, when you see you have it on Google or you subscribe to some platform and you are getting it within 1 minute or 2 minutes, within the day maximum. If you put a mail, they will send it. So that's the difference it has come through. So field has also changed. Toxicology has improved a lot. In those days, there were two institutes in India which was contract research organization, Jai Research, and you had FIPET in Chennai. Today, you have 52 contract research toxicology research centers uh, in industry. Apart from that, there are government institutes where toxicology research is being done. So it adds up to 80. So definitely opportunities are well, and you have a broad spectrum of things to do. And even today, it has gone one step ahead of toxicology. They are into risk assessment. Again, you can do some risk courses on risk assessment, get the basics understanding, and you can work from home as a zoologist with risk assessment background. They are very well paid. Packages are around 20 lakhs,
oh, that's
15
really
to 20
wonderful.
lakhs, 15 to 20 lakhs, and after 2 or 3 years of experience, even they are seeking freshers. That is the good part of it. There are companies which are seeking freshers and training them as per their requirement, and it's become something like a IT work job wherein you can work from home also.
Oh, that's really wonderful for those who are looking for desk job,
Yes.
working at one point, from the desk job. So, any particular skills looking to? Yeah, yeah, please.
I just want to mention one more thing.
Yeah.
Now they have divided the whole profession into wet lab and dry lab process. So risk assessment is basically a dry lab process wherein you work on risk assessment with all statistical tools on your laptop. So you have both the
Okay.
options, working in the
Okay.
lab or working offline.
Okay, okay. So we have a person with us, DPR Rao. He is asking that I should ask you a question. How about your entrepreneurial experience during your career, and what guidance would you give to those who are those who want to become entrepreneurs?
Definitely, it's a challenge you should take up, and you should not miss doing it, and you should not regret at any part of your age that I would have done this thing and I did not do. So I had two enterprises with me. First one was successful. I sold it off to my partner with some profits, and I tried a bigger venture. The second venture, unfortunately, did not take up because of COVID and other reasons, and we were into losses. So I have tasted both success and failures with ventures. So I would suggest, if you are thinking of it, just go for it. Don't regret in your life for having not done this thing.
Okay, so I hope, Mr. Rao, you have got your answer from no, Sharma sir. So, Sharma sir, as we were discussing the present scenario, that toxicology does have avenues for making career. So, any on that note, any special advice to the students? You feel that they should prepare in certain way so that they can get into the field easily.
See, everything cannot be given on a platter. You cannot have everything
Yeah.
someone else. So some amount or a good amount of self efforts are always required. So if you have is seriously thinking about toxicology, preclinical or clinical type, do some research. Don't just depend on your curriculum or college syllabus, university syllabus. Reading, self reading is very much important. You have to research on the thing, get the thing, notes or other things, get the literature and read them and prepare yourself. No one can make you competent through their lectures. So self involvement is very much important.
Yeah, so one has to take their own initiative to start
Yes,
learning the process and understand the subject. So, sir, it's been so long a journey for you. What keeps you going and working in the area?
I would say, if I don't have this type of work, I will not survive. So the things that kept me going was like, initially when I got into the field, I was not aware. But today, no one can separate me from my toxicology and my animal research. So it's like every day is a challenge. Every day you come across new findings and observations, and to resolve these challenges keep me going. I mean, you have different challenges every day.
Yeah. So you told me yesterday that you remain in the office till 8 p.m. in the evening. So I would like you to share your schedule to our young minds, because many of people they would like, oh, I can't do this so much. No, it's not possible. But then you, when you have passion, you can go on with the subject. So sir, आपका routine क्या होता है?
Uh, See, I would prefer coming to office mostly in the mornings by 8:30. Although I have flexi timings, I mean, I can come to office up to 10 o'clock anywhere between 8. But many a times I prefer coming at most of the times at 8:30. And after coming to office, I just make a list of the things that I have to do throughout. I have planned throughout. That is very much important. And I go back to the yesterday's list, which was, if there are something
Pending.
pending from that, so I transfer it to today's things and then try to address. And as and when you complete the task, you just strike it off. And this is how you do your things routinely and give time to everything. Like, even if you are working continuously, if you are, say, after 45 minutes, take a break, walk around your facility, try to understand what is going on, what is going happening there in those areas. So that actually will give you two benefits: that you have an idea of what is going on in your facility. Second is, you should not be continuously sitting, because because of this deep vein thrombosis and other type of things they develop in long run. So these are the benefits. And timing, it's like, you should work with your heart actually. I mean, if you feel like at 4 o'clock you want to leave, just leave, not to worry. But whenever it is a requirement, you should not think that 8 बजे तक बैठूंगा तो मुझे क्या मिलेगा. करना
Yeah.
है
So
means करना
dedication
है.
is must.
There are
Yeah.
few times when you can decide कि चलो आज थक गए हैं, I need some rest. So you can very well take a break at 4 o'clock. But point is, you should not be reminded by anyone to do your work.
Yes. Very important.
That is very.
Yeah. So, friends, if you are listening carefully to him, you need to develop the dedication and the passion. He works from 8 to 8 normally. That's his normal routine. Unless he has some social event or he wants to go home early, he goes. Otherwise, he's on his work. Okay. So, if you have passion, then career can be easily made. You don't have to look for opportunity. You are going to make and pave your path accordingly so that you get the opportunities the way you want to. So a very good lesson to learn from sir's dedication, that today also he's actually talking to us from his office. So those who are like listening, he's in his office and he's talking to us right now. So so inspiring, sir, to know that we have people in India working 8 to 8. Usually मोदी जी के लिए बोलते हैं कि वो काम
No,
करते
no,
हैं, पर
no, no,
ऐसा
don't compare to me to that level. There are thousands of people working with
who are
Sharma.
working. Yeah, exactly,
Yes, yes.
exactly. So glad that you are a zoologist and we have such dedicated zoologists who are working for such big causes. So sir, आप अभी vice president है भारत serums and vaccines limited में. So what's your present role? What you're supposed to do here?
Basically, it's a head's role wherein I am mostly into planning and say strategy making for the facility, animal testing facility, wherein we have different divisions. We have animal breeding, which is very much important for testing purpose, and you have two different testing wings: the preclinical and quality control, and we have quality assurance. So I have sectional heads who are actually taking care of this department. My prime role is to get the things going smoothly as per the requirements. So I'm more focused on say accreditations. Right now, I'm working on GLP, bringing GLP accreditation or other licenses that are required, and also I give some time to training part. Also, I'm happy to giving training to my
Mm.
colleagues.
Yeah. So you had also been giving GLP trainings in the past as well.
Definitely, yes.
Yeah. So on that note, I'll share a few of his honors to everybody. Sir has got a cash award and appreciation for standardizing acute marine prawn toxicity test, and he also got a cash award and appreciation for standardizing Daphnia magna reproductive toxicity test. So he has contributed a lot. He has delivered a lot of GLP training programs no, around, has been conducting the workshops all around. So his expertise are no less in managerial as well as in terms of the preclinical and clinical aspects. Lot of skills that sir is holding. So sir, I'll just pick up few of the words for our young minds because कुछ लोगों को शायद वो टर्म्स इतना अच्छे नहीं समझ में आए, तो मे बी आप थोड़ा उनको आइडिया दे दें कि what does it actually mean. So there are a lot of toxicokinetic studies that you had been undertaking, and that is one of your major skills also. So what one does in this kind of toxicokinetic studies is, can a zoologist do this kind of studies, or it requires some background of chemistry and physics again?
Nehal, the word itself is self-explanatory. When it kinetics, you think about time. So
Mm.
basically, what the body does to the drug or the pesticide that gets into your body. So when you think about time and what the body does, what body will try to do is throw out the toxin from your body. That is the primary thing. So when it gets into your body, the initially the levels are zero, then it gradually rises up to a particular level, which we call Cmax, Tmax, and Cmax. Which then it start body will start throwing it outside. So the levels will come down. So these basic experiments, when a drug is given, it reaches its maximum concentration in the time that it reaches there, Tmax and Cmax, and then gradually that comes down. This is all about
Mm.
kinetics. So exactly opposite is dynamics, what the drug does to your body.
Yeah. So students, you need little backgrounds of these also. So maybe everything is not included in your syllabus. So that is what sir was saying. We need to do little peripheral study on our own. Then you prepare for this kind of subjects and you get trained into it. So sir, we are approaching the end of the program. So I'm still waiting for viewers' questions. If any more questions, I would like to take it. So sir, on that note, आप क्या बोलेंगे हमारे फ्यूचर यंग माइंड्स को, एज एन एक नो आपका एक क्या बोलते हैं वो टैगलाइन के, एक लास्ट मैसेज आपकी ओर से कि ये तो करना ही, या आपका जो स्ट्रगल रहा है पूरा इतने सालों का, तो वो थोड़ा उनके लिए आसान हो जाए आपके एक्सपीरियंस के ऊपर से. सो व्हाट वुड बी योर वर्ड्स फॉर आवर स्टूडेंट्स?
Thing is, like we were talking about CMAX and TMAX. I remember we had this particular topic in your degree, BSc degree, I guess. Degree में कहीं पे we studied in zoology, CMAX, TMAX, and other things. So when you come across such things, it is you should really get into the depth of it, do some research, gain knowledge. So with that type of an attitude approach, actually you can face interviews in a better way. And once you are confident with knowledge, your CV and your words will reflect the words that you will put in your CV will actually reflect your confidence. And when you go to the interviews, I mean interviewer or the person who receives your CV should, after really seeing it, he should be tempted to invite you for an interview. He should be forced to invite you for an interview. But don't do blunders. Don't put things which are you actually don't know and haven't researched. The thing is, do some research, understand things. Teachers will teach you something. Pick up on the signals from there and do understand the larger aspect of it. So once you have knowledge, you have confidence. Knowledge is
Yes.
always confidence,
Yeah.
right?
So
I have
we have, yes, sir. Please, please.
I have seen many students saying when you ask a definition, it is defined as. After defined as, the words are literally, you know, inaudible. So when a teacher asks you should be ready with that definition. That level that gives you actually the confidence, and knowledge gives you confidence. So be always, I mean, informative about the things.
Yeah, yeah. So we have a question from Yogesh Vyas. He's asking, what do you think are the key challenges facing toxicologists today? Any key challenges for toxicologists in present time?
See, toxicologists of our generation or generation next to mine, we had been trained to work with animals. Now today there are multiple softwares and chips, human chips are available, with which you can predict the toxicity of a thing. But I'll tell you one thing: because we are at crossroads, whether we need to shift to this new technology or continue with the old one. New ones are good, but the new ones, what happens with them is you cannot have the expression of toxicity, the clinical observation.
Yeah,
Like in vitro methods, you can predict this enzyme increases, this decreases, and all those things. But if it is a skin sensitizer, or if it is an eye irritant, you cannot see the redness of the eye, lacrimation, or swelling or something like that. Those clinical manifestation of toxicity is not possible with new generation things. So this is the challenge current generation toxicologists in India are facing, and we don't know whether which one is better, because both are saying they are equally good.
and sir, on that note, is there any pressure building up on animal clinical trials? Because there is a complete different school of thought. There are people who don't want animal trials to take place. And in certain case, as you said, there is no choice. You need to do some animal trials. So is there also some big pressure building on that note?
Definitely, yes. There are always two schools of thoughts in all fields, and we also have them in toxicology field. And there are people who are having a different opinion about animal research. So it's always there.
Okay, okay. So I think there are no more questions from the audience anymore. So, viewers, thank you all for joining with us. And it was a wonderful session to talk to a dedicated, passionate zoologist come toxicologist today. And I hope that all the young minds who have been listening to him must have got inspired and will get inspired further for making their careers. So, thank you so much, sir, for joining us and giving us so much time and your experience and sharing all your guidelines for our people over here. I'll surely share your comments related to collaboration to our higher body so that AOZ can collaborate with other bodies, and we can come up with some good workshops for our zoologist students. So, on that note, I would like to say goodbye and good night to everybody. See you all in April once again with a new alumni episode number 4 with a new person who will share the journey the way we had been continuing. Thank you so much for appreciating our series. Please remain in touch with AOZ, be the members, and encourage us as you always do. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thanks a
Good
lot,
evening.
Dr. Nehal, for
Thank
inviting
you.
me, and my wishes to all the young minds.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, sir.